Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Brian. Thank you so much for that, for your kindness. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, commentaries, video game playthroughs, reviews, re-reviews, tier list, news, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And you wanted me to do a commentary on Furry Vengeance, the worst film Brendan Fraser has been a part of. I think even Brendan Fraser would agree with that. Because I remember there was an interview when he was up for the Oscar for The Whale, where he mentioned how there's one point he was making this film and he think he's in a porta potty like for a scene. He kind of sat there and went, "Is this worth it? I really need to rethink, the type of stuff I do." Because I'm sure this is one of those films that was sold to him. Because Brendan Fraser seems like a nice guy. I'm sure this was sold as, hey, it's a goofy, silly kids movie, and there's potential to make some money for the kid audience, and your films have not been doing well, so maybe this will give you a box office break of some type of, even if it's a so-so or medium-sized hit, it'll help you out. Which, of course, did. It was the exact opposite. But I'm pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Now, I can't... You know what? It's funny. I've seen this film, and I don't remember a damn thing about it, except a lot of scatological humor involving animals. Very goofy, silly, stupid humor. And Brendan Fraser just seeming embarrassed to be a part of it. And it's weird that the director of Cruel Intentions directed this. Cruel Intentions, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe. I think he also directed College Road Trip. He directed this. Mage Nation, Abu Dhabi. Okay. And I think Ken Jeong is like the human villain in this. I think so. I did names wrong sometimes. It's like when I reviewed Janky Promoters and I kept thinking of First Sunday. I kept thinking Mike Epps was in that, but it's actually Tracy Morgan. And I got confused with Lottery Ticket, which had Tracy Morgan. Had Mike Epps and Ice Cube in it, and whatever. Especially if it's movies I don't give a crap about. I forget about them. Names. So there's Ken Jeong from The Hangover and one other movies. I know I've seen this actor and other stuff. Arthur is obviously being a complete utter douchebag, nimwit. Dim-witted numbnuts. aka Nimnit. Dim-witted and numbnuts. There you go. Put them together as Nimnit. Or Nimnut. And it shows just how inconsequential he feels about the environment. No ifs, ands, or buts are given in his behavior involved in this environment, but these animals don't like that at all. I know people are saying this almost as if they just ripped off that film Over the Hedge, which had Bruce Willis in it. And I probably remember that film. It's an animated one. So the bird and raccoon, they don't like this guy, and they don't like what is this guy's major malfunction with his damn red car. I don't know how the hell these animals took care of this trap. Rube Goldberg type of crap. a series of rods coming down. And you have the CGI manipulation where the eyes of the raccoon are lengthened up and then shortened down. It just looks really off. And this guy's been murdered. No, instead he got hit. Is he by a cliff? Yep. There's your cliff. Why you got hit? Why your car got hit? You think it's awesome? I have no idea. And he's dead. See, I think this would have worked better maybe if it was like a horror comedy where when it lands, it blows up, and it's like, okay, what was that one movie? It was a horror film, Lost Weekend, was it called? It was a Lawn Weekend. It was a horror film where the animals were like. Let me double check. No, not Lost Weekend. Lawn Weekend. Let me double check. Yeah, Lawn Weekend. It was an Australian psychological film from the 70s, Lawn Weekend, where this married couple go on a camping trip, and then these animals, it seems like nature is just against them, and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It could be just a set of circumstances that just happen to be a thing, or it really is nature turning on them. There's a remake starring Jim Caviezel. Also, it was also called Nature's Grave. But it's about this married couple that go out, they go camping. They don't have the best marriage, and then like animals start attacking them, and nature seems to have gone a bit weird and cuckoo. And is it really nature attacking us, or is it just a series of events that happens, and we're just so frazzled because of our bitter marriage? Anyway, Lawn Weekend is the name, and then again there was a remake with Jim Caviezel that was called Nature's Grave. I think one of those workers was Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal, may he rest in peace. He was on the Opie and Anthony show a lot, and apparently he caused like a lot of trouble on you. Like, what is this? This is a stupid movie. Come on now. What's the big deal? It's like, yeah, well, you're working on it, and you sign up for it, so you have to do your job. But Patrice O'Neal was one of those guys that just did not give a rat's ass. He did what he wanted, but he passed away way too young. But he did. If you listen to the Opie and Anthony show, he popped up a lot on that. And Brendan Fraser, I've always liked him as an actor. My first time seeing him was Encino Man, back in the day. Pauly Shore, Sean Astin. And it's goofy, it's silly. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's an entertaining, silly comedy. The cast make it work fairly well for consider how weird of an idea it is. But yeah, after Encino Man, that was a nice surprise success, so he got more work. Eventually, he would get George of the Jungle, and films like that would lead into The Mummy in 1999. I enjoy that film, The Mummy. And then as years went on, he would do films and try to capture more of that success, but like Bedazzled didn't do well. That was directed by Harold Ramis, I believe. May he rest in peace. Monkey Bone, which I liked for how weird it is. I don't mind that film. That was a bomb. Dilly Do Right, not that good of a movie, in my opinion. That didn't do well. Yeah, I definitely don't. Yeah, we used to have turkeys around here, but there were a couple of turkeys we had around here after seeing them on screen, and sadly, one of them had passed on. Because there's wild animals around here, so whether it be something, believe it or not, something up above can grab a turkey and take them wherever, or another animal, raccoon, whatever could take them, and then one the other was lonely, so have it by itself, sent off to someone who had a bunch of turkeys, so it could be happier there instead of being by itself. So of course, when it was flipped around, we know this is sponsored by Apple. Big old Apple sign on that laptop computer. But yeah, Sally Brendan Fraser, he just got in a series of bombs. Like I said, Bedazzled, Monkey Bone, Looney Tunes Back in Action. Even the third Mummy film didn't do that well. So, and then this especially. Plus, Sally, some stuff that happened to him in the real world. People in the higher ups of business did some inappropriate things to him, and I think a lot of it just kind of killed his momentum as well as killed his. I don't want to say his love for acting, but I know he also got physically hurt, injured doing some of those mummy films, and some of this physical acts took a toll on his body. That's why it was nice, and I have not seen The Whale. I've only heard good things about his performance, but he won an Oscar. Now, granted, most people, when they win an Oscar, then nothing happens afterward. Not all the time. I mean, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. But there are people that, like Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar, and then what happened to his career afterward? A lot of other people, they win an Oscar, and then they kind of. You don't really hear much of their stuff afterward. We'll see what happens with Brendan Fraser. They had a supporting role in that Martin Scorsese film. With Leonardo DiCaprio. Never heard anything of whether he was good or bad or if he even had a big part in it, but these driving shots, they just look fake with the backdrop they use. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know a lot of times they use some type of screen. Well, back to the day. I don't know nowadays if it's CG. What the technique they use nowadays. Maybe it is like this back to the day where you just have kind of a screen and it just passes by that makes it seem like you're driving along. But something about it looks a bit phony. I don't know, just the way it's. I don't want to say lit, but it's just something about it looks off. Looks cheap. And Ken Jeong I've never found funny. I've never found this guy funny. He was fine in the first Hangover movie for the part he was given to play. But the Hangover sequels, not a fan of those. He was in one of the Transformer films. I want to say the third one. He was pretty irritating in that. I know he was a judge on that singing show where people were in costumes. The Masked Singer, I believe. I was always more of a Bobby Lee fan than a Ken Jeong fan, but that's just me. I have nothing against the guy personally. I haven't heard anything bad about him personally. It just, I don't know. His style of humor just doesn't do much for me. And I kind of look at the plot of this film. Could it work? Like I said, maybe if it was a horror comedy, that'd be possibly funny. Like you take these two critter furry animals, and then they start being conniving, and they start being like environmental serial killers. Where you mess with our fours, we mess with you. I just imagine like a bunch of crews just digging graves for people and throwing them in and digging them, you know. Now that old lady on the left, I have seen her in a bunch of stuff. I think she was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I think she was Ray Finkel's mom. Laces up. That made the cookies. I think she's the one that made those football cookies. Oh, the little footballs. Laces out. I think that's Ray Finkel's mom. I'm trying to remember her name. Is it Brooke? Is it Brooke Shields? I want to make sure. Yep, it is. Okay, I wanted to make sure. She's most famous for The Blue Lagoon, that movie. She was on a show, Suddenly Susan. Went on for a few years. I'm not sure what is the last thing she's done if it shows here. Let's see. Pretty Baby Brooke Shields. It was a 2023 documentary. Two-part series aired on Hulu. Okay. But yeah, this film got completely demolished when it came out. It got, let's see, 7% on Rotten Tomatoes, a thin premise stretched far beyond serviceable length. It suggests Brendan Fraser and the audience to 92 minutes of abuse. Mirthless, aggressively dumb family comedy. Substitute slapstick violence for laughs or a message. It made $6.5 million in its opening weekend. And it made 32 million worldwide. In the US, it only made 17 million. And the budget was about 35 million, and it made about 36 million worldwide, so that's a flop. Because whatever money it makes, the movie theater takes a chunk of it, plus that probably doesn't include marketing and whatever else they did with it. Oh yeah, you. That's how most people feel watching this film. They just sit there and scream, ah! That's that's the audience member. Every audience member that saw this film, ah! Fuck this! And yeah, The Color of Money is the only reason this film got. Oh my god, look at all those animals. Holy shit. And why is this thought bubble like green like a snot? Like these ridiculous thought bubbles, and obviously they can't get all these animals together or they'd all be trying to eat and attack each other, so it was like CGI. Yeah, I place each animal next to each other and it just creates just a phony look to it. That it might as well be a damn cartoon. This might as well be an animated movie. And just from reviews, they say, yeah, it's called Over the Hedge. Which I barely remember that film. Like I said, I think Bruce Willis voices a character in it. So I don't know if that's. And raccoons, they may look cute, but you don't want to mess with them, man. They could. See, it's funny because the water hit his nuts. And his nuts are wet. So that's hilarious. Yep, you definitely care about the environment, yeah. Oh, they got this song in there too. Surrender, surrender. And what's sad is with the movies I've seen, the movies I've watched, would I consider this one of the worst films I've ever seen? No. But I mean, if you did a top 10 worst films of this year, perhaps, yes. Because still like Brendan Fraser, but I don't know if I wouldn't say his heart wasn't in on this. It's just the director of College Road Trip and Cruel Intentions 1 and I think he did 2. It's not really a premier top notch director. I don't even hate the first Cruel Intentions, but like it's not Harold Ramis. It's not John Hughes. It's not even Howie Deutsch, who did The Great Outdoors. Well, they did Raccoons and comedy. I think it was The Great Outdoors. And that was my least favorite part of that movie. And even that was funnier than this movie. I like The Great Outdoors, but for John Candy and his stuff. Like the raccoons, I didn't really care about, and that's still funnier than this entire movie. So there you go. I mean, it comes off silly and goofy. So as an adult or a teenager, you're kind of watching it, rolling your eyes, cringing at the humor or the attempt at humor. So an adult and this other stuff, it's like if the animals were trying to be like Looney Tunes characters, just not being able to speak, but let's do a live action, which is ironic because he was in Looney Tunes Back in Action years before. Yeah, I think before this he was in it. So, and then kids, maybe kids would enjoy this film. I don't know. jokes like that is what makes this film stink. You see a boulder coming at your car, and the thing you yell is Miley Cyrus. Why? I don't know. Why yell out Miley Cyrus? That's what you did, Joseph. You don't even. I don't even get the punchline. And see, that could have been funny if it was more subtle. If he's holding this cup of coffee and it burst, and he was kind of like, but instead it's given the direction of be broad, be big, be loud, be exaggerated. Then we add like awful CG on the animals where that was the same shot of the raccoon on the edge doing the wave. I swear it was the exact same shot. They just copy and pasted the same shot they had at the beginning of the film to that one. And then like why is Patrice O'Neal and I think it's Jim Norton who are on the opening Anthony, why are they even there as construction guys? Do they even like I think Jim Norton is there on the left with the blue hat and the white shirt. And on the right, of course, with the red helmet, that's Patrice O'Neal. I don't even know if they even have any dialogue in this movie. Like, you have two guys hired to support, they're comedians. Give them some dialogue. Well, right then and there, that'd be a lawsuit just for touching and putting in a headlock. That'd be a whole lawsuit. Some short guy just being weird for weird's sake, thinking Brooke Shields is a murderer, thinking if I say and do bird noises that means I'm funny, but you're just a kooky weirdo that probably defecates on people's faces in your bedroom. Fucking turd in the wind. And I mean, it's weird to say I feel bad for Brendan Fraser because he got paid. I'm sure he got paid very well for the film. But just, this is a guy that has done good work in drama. I mean, hell, he won an Oscar eventually. And, in this time period, to be wasted doing projects like this, probably the only successful films he was getting were films like Journey to the Center of the Earth, The First Mummy. The Mummy Returns made some money. Of course, way back when, I should mention School Ties he was in. More dramatic. But just didn't pick the best projects. Blast from the Past. And again, this movie. Again, I'm sure they thought of him because, hey, well, I know it's a silly idea, Brendan, but so is a caveman coming back to life. Being unfrozen, I should say. You're unfrozen, you go to high school. And that film was successful. Or George of the Jungle, where it's like a very comedic version of Tarzan based on George of the Jungle. That was successful. So you look at the idea, you know, okay, I've done silly, goofy movies that were hits. Maybe this will be that same result, and it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know if this is really the right director to do it. If you can even manage to make a film like this work, it'd be very, very tough. Now, this is their plan. Like, what if this did not bother Brendan and just bothered the wife a lot? Because she sleeps through it. Idea, what if their plan didn't work and he just slept through it and she's the one that got pissed? Then what would have happened? Turn on a fan. That's what I do. I sleep with a fan on. It's not really. Again, Brendan was just. I don't know if it was his choice or the director's choice. He was just told to play this role way too broad, way too big, way too over the top. I'm sure it's like, hey, it's a live action cartoon, so be broad, be big. And I don't know if that was the right call for it. Even the music, you tell the music just being very broad and for being very cartoony in its musical score. Listen, I'm sure the whole setup is just to be a live action cartoon. Of course, the person will go to that window. Is it the window open too? I swear the window is open behind him. There's a window right there. Of course, it's gonna be there. You don't even have the window. You don't even have the curtains closed. Put a fan on. Or earplugs. The fact that nobody else in the house can hear this either, it's hard to, it's kind of hard to believe. Idea is it's supposed to be a silly, stupid comedy, but still, it's like, come on. Well, let me guess, he's gonna fall. So that's gonna be predictable. He's gonna fall. He's gonna either split his nuts, or he's gonna fall off. Nuts. And fall. So both. Again, being trying to do physical stuff like this probably didn't help his condition either. By the way, kid, did you keep that Wii that he gave you? That Wii video game system? If not, you can give it to me. Or sell it. Like I said, I like Brendan, but man, his performance comes off as a bit irritating and a bit annoying. And I like the guy, just not the best. Okay, what are they going to do in this home now? Since they crawled in. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't let me down, Bruce. Don't let me down, Bruce. Don't let. Of course, right in his milk. Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's not no poo in his food, is it? Oh, acorns. That's just. Oh yeah, just gonna break his teeth. Why you don't notice it, I don't know. Like he's looking directly at it. You think he would like he looked directly at the thing. See, it's not enough that he hurt his teeth, but then he has got to fall all the way back. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just so broad. And if you don't do it, you have to do it the right way. Like Jim Carrey knew how to do that in some of the Ace Ventura films. That's a bigger than life persona. But Jim Carrey's timing, the way that strip made it work. So now we just got a bunch of stunts and gee, I wonder what they're going to do in the car. I bet they're not going to do anything. They're going to sing Kumbaya and, I don't know, use a stunt Ouija board the contact Pepe Le Pew. I don't know. We know, yeah, we already know he's going to stick up the car and he's going to be really, really stinky. This is funny. He's really stinky. Like I said, I know people go, how could they put money into stuff like this? Because again, people, they look at the past and they see these really silly, goofy movies and they go, how did that make money? But Space Jam, that's a film that made money. The people go, it's just Michael Jordan and basketball. They say, yeah, it's the Looney Tunes playing basketball. And it's Michael Jordan, but that was enough to make it a hit and give it some charm. Yeah, I mentioned Encino Man, a bunch of other movies throughout the years. Well, look how many movies that you think didn't deserve to be hits, but lo and behold, they were. Thankfully, I've never had to deal with a stunk. I'm thankful for that. Of course, this is people say that tomato juice is the best way to get the skunk motif, so to speak, off of your body. But yeah, thankfully I've never dealt with that and hopefully never will. That's why you should keep your damn windows shut. Oh my god. Oh my god. So he keeps the windows open, even though the other night he had crows bothering him. Lo and behold, has something, and he's being so accidentally puts on a bra, Imagine how hard it is to just to be shown. Oh my god. It's not fucking funny. Great, a reading rainbow umbrella. I guess all of his clothes have been taken, so now he's got. And what is this guy's problem? Hello, senor. Hello there. I like your young pants. See, it's funny because he's wearing pink clothes, so people think he's girly or gay, but he's not. So thus it's funny. And he got stunted again. At this point, I would just go on a mission to murder all the fucking animals. Get some explosive arrows and blow the shit out of the entire damn forest. Oh, who cares about this teen kid, man? God, even Brooke Shields ain't having it with this movie. I judge of the movie, she just looks unhappy. I mean, maybe just be in real life she was unhappy to be part of this fucking movie. Because I can't blame her. But yeah, I'm sure they got paid for this, so. Well, of course they got paid for this. I'm sure they got paid well for this. One would think. Oh, I don't care about the teen kid. Don't tell me he meets some girl. Don't tell me she meets. Don't tell me he meets some girl. Oh shit! Yep. Here we go. Meets a girl. Falls in love. Blah, 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 blah. No one cares. No one cares who the hell this guy is. This kid is awful. This teen. I mean, looks like a wannabe Justin Bieber. Yeah, that's us. He's like tries to have his teeth do all the acting. You shut up. I'm gonna take your head off and shut up your cooter, lady. You shut up. And that plane, I'm gonna blow it up. Don't get on my face with that plane, man. So here we have the lady who's completely racist, who thought Indian meant Native Americans. What is this girl's problem? Did she have brain damage? Or did her brains just vacate the premises before the film came about? And you tell that, Brendan let his physique go a bit. Because you think about the shape he was in The Mummy Returns. And now he's got a little bit of a gut showing here. A little bit. I need to have these off for a bit. So I don't know, I was trying to be their wannabe North by Northwest type of shot with him running the thing behind, and then this bird's trying to hit Brennan, and he dives in, and this raccoon is trying to have a face that looks like the Joker with a the devil grin. Creepier than a lot of horror films I've seen, for crying out loud. Oh my god. What the hell happened to his face? That is horrifying. Like, that sincerely was horrifying. It was like swollen, so his eye was like shut here, so it was like no. His eyes were completely covered. A little like a Cenobite. New Hellraiser movie. What the hell? Drink it. Right now that he's sleeping, what the hell is going to happen to him now? That swelling went down quick. That swelling went down super quick. Damn. Is this going to be like a nightmare sequence? I have a feeling there's going to be a nightmare sequence. Just it seems like that would have. This has to be a nightmare sequence. Because as stupid and silly as this is, even they wouldn't go this far to have a damn animal DJ and them dancing in CGI. Although it looks so god awful. So terrible. Yep, it's a nightmare. Guess people are art, another dream. I guess that too. Well, you've seen it before, yeah, and I didn't remember a damn thing about it. So as I watch it for the first time, and I was still. So he had one nightmare where he saw a bunch of horribly done, horribly animated CGI animals dancing. Then he had another nightmare where his wife was part raccoon. Yes, because the animals know how to read. So, of course, they would read Blue Plate Special and please eat this. Because animals know how to read, let alone English. With genius. Absolute positive genius. Oh, this guy's in this too. I forget what his name is. He was in The Princess Bride. He's the one that said inconceivable in The Princess Bride. Wallace Shawn, I believe. I think that's his name. Could take this off for a bit. I'm sorry it's not the most exciting commentary, but this is one of those movies that kind of... It is what it is, and it's awful. It, the thing is that the movie... It does barely have a story. This story is hard to justify maybe as a short stint on some show like SNL, Mad TV, or even Funny or Die. As a stint, maybe this could work, maybe, and even that's doubtful. As a full-length film, no. Because I mentioned Looney Tunes, but the thing is, a lot of those Looney Tunes episodes are not, 90 minutes long. And then Looney Tunes Back in Action, even I would say that's better than this, and I would rather watch that than this movie. And the humor is really... I don't even want to call it basic. It's just lazy. Lazy, uninspired. Oh, we got a stunt, it's going to stink them up. We don't have some pratfalls, so you fall here, you fall there. Of course, they think he's crazy, so he does his psych ward. Of course, by the end of the film, people don't know what's going on. He's going to change his ways. He's going to help the furry animals. He's going to help the forest. He's going to quit his job, probably, and then realize his family's more important. The typical thing. So, it's predictable. It's lazy. There's no sense of energy in terms of his direction. It's not trying to do much of anything. And the other human beings just do not act like they should. Like Wallace Shawn, how do you not hear a vehicle break a fucking light outside of your damn office? How does his wife not hear the pecking at the window that he clearly does? And if it was that loud, you think the son would hear it. How many times do we need a skunk gag in this movie? This is the third one. The third one. Stunts his car. Stunt was hiding his car a second time. Now the stunt hit him in the face. Now we have a third one. 3 stunt jokes. 3. With terribly animated animal shit, shenanigans. Well, there's the Wii, so I guess they did take it back. So let's advertise the Wii and let's advertise the Apple computers. For all people that people remember the Wii. I never played the Wii. I had a PlayStation. I was more a PlayStation guy. I loved Nintendo, loved Super Nintendo, but PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and now PlayStation 4. And again, why do you cast people like Patrice O'Neal and Jim Norton that are known for comedy, and I don't think they've had a single line of dialogue so far. They haven't had a single line of dialogue. Why do we need this teen kid with this girlfriend? Why does that ever need to be a thing? There's nothing to it. Brendan is just playing an aloof, mudding broad character that is beneath him, to be perfectly honest. He's obviously capable of so much better, as we've seen. Oh, God. So we had a flashback to some. I just like, hey, Brendan Fraser, imagine if Encino Man and George the Jungle met together. So we had a series of small flashbacks with Brendan Fraser in another goofy, over the top, stupid, silly, dumb outfit beaten up by a puppet raccoon. Again, this seemed like a bad skit. Brendan Fraser, why do you not believe in your son? You're saying how these animals want to personally get you. I think you should. And they have these like cartoony thought bubbles. Like, it's obvious that this is meant strictly for little kids. Do not pass go to not collect $200 if you're above the age of 8. But I mean, there's ways to do that where adults can get in on it too. Hell, Pixar has a film called, Wall-E. Fantastic movie. And Finding Nemo, and even, the first couple Toy Story films. And I wonder what this is going to be, a bear or something? Is it really a bear? Or it was a bear, Jesus. Either I am somehow remembering this movie when I sincerely do not remember. I know I reviewed it, but it's been so long. Or I just. It was that fucking predictable. Trust me, I don't. I mean, I know I've seen the film or the porta potty, so this must have been the scene he was shooting where he's like, yeah, I need to rethink my film choices. I need to rethink what I'm doing with my life. I'm in a porta potty. My pants have been taken off. I'm rolling around in a porta potty where supposedly a bear is wrecking house. I'm wrapping supposedly sewage and perhaps poo or going on my fucking face while I'm in my underwear and I'm being rolled around. I just, for some, they would go, why would he do this? Again, number one, his films were not being successful, from Blast from the Past to, like I mentioned, Bedazzled, Monkey Bone, movies like that. So, someone tells you, hey, we want you to star in this movie. A lot of people say yes to this. And again, because, sometimes a silly, goofy idea will get enough cuteness that, like, Alvin the Chipmunks, how do you feel about those movies? Those movies made money. The first Smurfs made money, and then there's the Smurfs 2. Like, right, they had more of a recognizable name, so that helped matters. But it's still goofy, silly, juvenile kid movies. And so they're hoping for that kind of thing. Now, again, they have an IP to help market the movie. So yeah, in the back, in red, it's Patrice O'Neal, and then like Jim Norton. Like, yeah, why would you cast these guys and give them nothing to say? Again, just embarrassing. Hey, there's gonna be a bunch of poo on you, and you get the hose again. Puts the lotion on his skin, or it gets the hose again. It's just a series of events of Brendan Fraser being humiliated. And here's the thing. It's not fun because... Here's another thing. I mentioned he's a little bit irritating, but... his character has not been shown as this awful, terrible human being to deserve a series of punishments. I mean, we still, he's still a likable, Brendan Fraser's likable as a person. His character means well. He's doing this to help provide for his family. Again, he's not looked at as this awful, terrible human being. So you sit there and go, where do you deserve, I do like seeing Brendan Fraser in the Rambo. Red bandana. See, that's the thing, like, right then there, he could have killed the raccoon, could have done all this stuff, and the raccoon decides to attack him. So that's what I mean, is that these animals are not really that likable or that... you don't want to root for them. You're like, fine, let all these animals fucking die. And a piss joke. Because we have to have a piss joke. You have to have a fucking piss joke. Where the raccoon pisses on Brendan Fraser's face. Again, you want Brendan Fraser to kill this fucking raccoon. Kill the son of a bitch. Just fuck this guy. And that's the thing, I didn't think about that till now. Brendan Fraser is not Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, where they're thieves trying to break into homes and they have good chemistry with each other, but they're not good people. So when you see them get their comeuppance again and again, it's... you can laugh because, number one, it's well staged, it's well acted, but you like seeing people they deserve to get their comeuppance. It wasn't really the case in this movie. I mean, you didn't really feel like Brendan Fraser was being this awful, terrible person. I think he just turned on the sprinklers. That's all he did. He turned on the fucking sprinklers. Then, that's all he did. That's all he fucking did. Turn on the sprinklers. Now, I know you're saying, well, he's working for this company and they're doing this to the animals. Well, then they should have gone for Ken Jeong. They should have gone for Ken Jeong. Or they should have tried some kind of tactic to communicate with him first. And he won't listen, then we go into overdrive. See, in real life, this is where he goes to the door, credits. I am looking up the trivia to see if there's anything here I could talk about. In order to save costs, many of the animals were actually puppets. Brendan Fraser claimed that there was only one scene in the entire film that he actually worked on alongside a real animal, that being the scene with the turkey. He admits that he's ashamed of the film. I don't blame him. Having been in great shape for a number of action movies, Brendan Fraser relished at the thought of easing up on his demanding physical regiment and allowing the weight to pile on. Steve Carell and Jeremy Piven were both attached to play the lead role at various times. Final film Patrice O'Neal before his early death at age 41 in 2011. Yeah, if you say so, kid. Does anyone give a flying fuck about these two teens and whatever the hell they're talking about? Nobody does. Waste of space, waste of time. Gives a crap. Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, no one cares. I'd be like, you deserve it. You tried to kill my dad. This is multiple times they tried to kill Brendan Fraser's character. That porta potty thing. What if it went down a cliff and smashed his head? No, actually, it's easy. What a bitch. Don't let me with my dad. It's hard not to. Well, then that's your fault. That's your major malfunction. Whatever, brat. All the acting in this movie sucked, sadly. Even Brendan Fraser. What? I'm the bad guy? Puh. Fuck. And of course we know he's capable of much better in this. But when you can't turn... you can't turn chicken Charlotte out of chicken shit. If you have chicken shit, you can't make it into chicken salad. I'd be like, you try to kill me, you little asshole. I even put my arrow down, and you tried to bite me. You tried to rip my throat out. You tried to push me off a cliff. You tried to do all sorts of things, man. You tried to murder me. You tried to murder me. You have a family? Yeah, and you tried to make my kid, well, I can't say orphan because the mom would be alive. Like, you tried to murder me, you little asshole. Kind of hard for me to sympathize with you. You tried to murder me and you peed in my face. And they picked the wrong victim too. Like King Jion was the victim. But then, you know, I would say I prefer Brendan Fraser starring than King Jion. But just one of those things where Brendan Fraser didn't seem that bad of a character to deserve all this punishment. And then again, all the multiple times he almost got killed over and over again. Now, just one of those things where and this kid on his Apple computer, dear rat's ass. Crybaby hurt boy. Oh, you hit my fuse a hood. Crybaby. Pussy ass. Whatever. She probably will grow up to be a lesbian anyway. Let her go, dude. She'll be a Wiccan lesbian living in the forest with hula strip made out of leaves and all this other jazz. Radio bullhorn. Someone will come up and punch you in the nuts. So she'll just come up and go, bah, right in his nuts. Whatever, kid. Give a shit about you or your lesbian girlfriend. You the king of the forest, huh? You tree hunter, huh? You tree hunter? Is this your special bush? You king of the forest. Rocky Mountain High. Whatever, Justin Bieber, get the hell out of here. Go cry me a river. And when you cry me that river, I'm going to sail your ass down the pipeline so you give me some money. Put a stir on you, some makeup, make you a femboy, and do a Vince McMahon on you. Just toss and share you around. Some trafficking of my own. There you go, kid. Shut up. Brendan Fraser to open up his shirt, go be Superman. Because he understands English. Think the other raccoon understands English, I guess. In reality, he probably open up and then they all attack him and eat him up and just be bones, flesh, pus, and ass left. But does this mean like all the innocent people are going to be attacked too, which is not their fault? They were just invited to this show. They've just been invited to be part of the show. So again, are they going to be attacked for no reason? Somehow the animals were able to build this. And somehow the animals, I guess, have seen Braveheart, so they can reference it. I guess it's the same studio because they're able to get footage from Braveheart. God, look at those CGI creations. My God, man. It's a bad movie. It's a bad, bad movie. It's just very boring. It's very lazy, uninspired, boring, with such a anorexic story, broad humor, piss jokes, stunt upon stunt jokes. And nobody on their A game on this. Brendan Fraser at times, he's broad, he's I don't want to say he seems bored at times, but just I think there's a part of him that it pretty soon into this, he's like, oh, this was a mistake. This was a mistake to do this movie. Sometimes it's okay to say no. Sometimes it's okay to say no. At least things will get better for Brendan. Don't worry, man. Hang in there, man. One day you're going to win an Oscar. One day. Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. That's just part of the journey to get through direct like this. It'll just make your comeback that much sweeter. And that's what came to be. So I don't need to read. I don't need to hear his speech. Just a typical speech. I learned a lesson. I changed my ways. I should listen to my kid. What I thought was wrong. I want to be better. You should not do this. The environment is good. I could literally relate the same speech without listening to a single word. Was that kind of plot of Yogi Bear where they were just gonna tear the place down and change it up, and then it was Yogi Bear and Boo Boo that had to fix everything? And there's plenty of movies that have done that. Which is a valid statement. Protect the environment, save the environment. Very valid statement, but this really isn't the movie to be your front runner to showcase that message. More poop jokes, because that's funny. The birds pooped. Gonna be on their faces now. Lady, there's stuff around napkins and stuff. Just grab one of them to wipe it off. You don't need to use your sleeve. I guarantee you there's plenty of napkins and stuff to grab to use to wipe it. So now, great, this vehicle is going haywire and almost hitting all these innocent people, which had nothing to do with this. They were just invited to this thing. So now the turkey is bombardiers, bombardiers. Oh no. Of course, the birds are going to poop on everybody. Poop scoop. There we go. Poopalicious. The poopadiers, poopadiers, poopadiers. The animals are backing down. Animals are backing down. Doo, doo. Hopefully nobody gets killed during the stampede riot, because there's never been a time where people got hurt during a riot or stampede. You know. What the hell was that person in a stunt suit just decided to sack Brooke Shields? Uh, it's whack-a-mole, but it's a mole whacking a human. Damn, knocked her right the hell out. Yeah, I do like that old lady from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I don't know if she's still around, but nice to see her there. I don't know what shooting the raccoon is really going to solve everything, but okay. Where the hell did all these people's cars go? Nobody has a car to get into and drive off? Listen, whether you see a bear or not, you're not going to leave your fucking car. People can get in their car, stay there, and drive the fuck off. God, such awful looking CG animals. Awful looking. Just a lot of times, just a disapproving, shaking my head, man. Like I said, just so lazy. No wit, no humor, like no cleverness. Like I said, I have to say this is the worst film Brendan Fraser has been in, and I think he would say the same thing. Because I look at his career, like I said, I like Encino Man. I'm not a big fan of Bedazzled, but that's better than this. I don't mind The Mummy Returns. The Mummy 3 I'm not big on, but they're both better than, but they're all of them are better than this. I don't mind Monty Bone. Blast from the Past was okay. Journey to the Center Earth was just okay. Again, just Brendan Fraser just seems like a sweet guy and just. But things will get better. Like I said, things will get better. So it's 3 months later, and what the hell's going on here? Protected Forest by orders of Ranger Dan Sanders. So he's a ranger now? This almost seems completely random. So now the owl is Spanish? I don't know why. Don't know why. And then they decide to have this rap song where everybody is dressed up in purple. I mean, in pink. They're dressed up in pink. And this is something they had to think of earlier. Probably the absolute worst rendition of Insane in the Membrane that I've ever heard in my life. And obviously this was thought of well early into production, because when all these scenes are happening, when they're shooting all these scenes, it's like, okay, before you take that makeup off where you're swelling, make sure you seem a bit like you're Insane in the Membrane. And it's like, okay, let's have a music video parody of Addicted to Love and all this other stuff for some reason. Oh, Blue Lagoon, because Burt Shields was in it. Kind of sitting there going, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, why is there now a Grease parody just thrown in there for 5 seconds? Damn, let's have a Grease parody for 5 seconds. Let's have a Addicted to Love music video parody for 5 seconds. All these scenes, it's like we gotta say a lyric or two. We'll edit it all together. Because we need some. Again, the worst rendition of Insane the Member I've ever heard in my damn life. And Patrice O'Neal's number 4. Ahead, and Jim Norton, ahead of Burt Shields. And can you, why is Patrice O'Neal and Jim Norton, why are they ahead of Burt Shields? Why? That's not, okay, let me go back to that. Is that even alphabetical? No, F, G, then O'Neal. Norton would be before O'Neal. Cordero will be before Garcia. So, Brendan Fraser, Ricky Garcia, Eugene Cordero, Patrice O'Neal, Jim Norton, and Burt Shields. Why is the mom and the son so low on the list, but Patrice O'Neal and Jim Norton are in the top 5 names? That doesn't make a lick of sense. Kids who watch this are not going to know who the hell those people are. That's the thing. Like, if this is meant for kids, kids are not going to care about the credits, but just like, they don't say, wait a minute, how come these two are in it and they didn't say one line of dialogue. They didn't say one fucking line of dialogue, Patrice O'Neal or Jim Norton. But if you might not even know who they are. They were on, like I said, Opie and Anthony, the show that lasted for quite a few years. It's not on anymore. It was a radio show. In a way, you say they kind of took the ball from Howard Stern, and then for their time, they were being more shocking than if Howard Stern was a little bit more tame at that time, then those two kind of took the mantle. Opie and Anthony. Anyway, that's so strange. And you hire these two for this kids movie, and then give them nothing to do, no lines of dialogue. Again, just so many damn decisions in this movie that just does not make sense. And I apologize a lot of times. I'm kind of just sitting here shaking my head going, the fact that a group of people, a group of adults, got together and they're seeing this on the screen in dailies. They'll look at the script and go, okay, this is when all the animals, CGI, are going to be dancing. We're going to have this end credits. We're going to put little parodies of Addicted to Love and Grease in there. Here's the bit where the birds or bombardiers pooing on everybody or on this select group of people. Here's where Brendan fights this raccoon. There's going to be a puppet. It's going to be pissing on his face. Here's, the third and the fourth, stunt gag. And no one decided to say, stop, wait a minute. Do you really think this is going to work? Even with the stuff I was saying, with being, there's been silly, goofy films that have made money. Just terrible on pretty much every front. A story that's paper thin. A story that would be hard to carry over for a skit on a Saturday Night Live or any type of show like that, similar to that. The acting is either mudding or lazy or I don't want to be in this movie type of variety. The songs, at times, Transcenders featuring Jules Larson making the worst Insane the Membrane cover in the history of mankind. The animals, they're not even likable because they're picking on poor Brendan Fraser, who's not really the worst of the worst. And you're sitting there going, this guy really doesn't deserve what he's getting. See, it's not even like a fun bit of business. So I don't care for the animals. Brendan Fraser I like as a person, so in a way I like him more than the animals, but his character is just thinly written, even for this type of movie. Burt Shields just looked annoyed. The teen kid was poorly acted. The animals look like crap at times with... Yes, there's real animals, but the CGI sticks out like a sore thumb when it's used. In particular, the wide shots. And for a film that's an hour and 31 minutes with credits, it felt longer. So, easily one of the worst films of 2010. I could say that. And there's a reason why I did not remember much of this film. And even when I didn't, I was predicting stuff. And I'm sure within 2 days, I'm not going to remember this movie specifics yet again. So, with that said, thank you once again, Brian. Take care, everyone. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.